Have you ever been stopped out just after you open a trade? Well, in today's video, I'll be showing you a very profitable strategy that you could use to grow your capital no matter what time frame you trade. This strategy works on the Forex, stocks, crypto, and even the bonds. Okay traders, so we are currently on the Australian dollar Japanese yen. And this is the 5 minutes time frame. But before we move on, you should know that this strategy uses two time frame: the 30 minutes time frame and the 5 minutes time frame. Okay traders, before we move forward, it is important to note that this strategy uses two time frames and just a single indicator for the strategy. I know some of you will think that it's crazy to use just a single indicator to trade in the financial markets. Well, I would like to let you know that for this strategy, the two time frame will be the driving force to this profitable strategy, while the indicator serves as the market filter, as well as determining our points of entry and exit in the market. Now let's simply add the indicator to the chart, so you could better understand the strategy very well. Make sure to watch till the end in order not to miss an important information in this video. Do well to smash the like button also, and subscribe to the channel, as it motivates us to make more videos like this. Now, I want you to bring up your indicator panel, then search for the squeeze momentum indicator. This one right here by Lazy Bear. I know a lot of you know about this indicator because it has been the top indicator in Tradingview for quite some time now. Why I love this indicator is because it gauges the market volatility accurately, as well as giving accurate reading in the market. Now for this indicator, before we give the conditions for a valid buy and sell signal, let's first adjust the settings for the indicator. And to do that, double-click on the indicator to bring up its settings panel. On the style, we would just be unticking this second plot, as we won't be using it in our chat. And once you're done, click on the OK button to apply the settings. Now to understand the indicator, we could notice we have 4 different color columns generated by the squeeze momentum. For the bright green, it shows we have more buyers in the market than sellers, and I hope we could also notice these dull shade of green. It indicates that the buying pressure has reduced, as sellers are entering the market, or the market could be experiencing bullish retracement before a continuation upwards. Now the same goes for the red columns, as these bright reds indicates more sellers in the market than buyers, as well as these dull reds, indicating reduced volatility on the bearish market. Let's change these dull colors to better identify when it's present. Bring up the indicator panel. On the style, change the dull green to blue, and the dull red to yellow. And that would be all. Now we only buy when we see beginning of a new green column after the yellow, and sell at the beginning of a red new column after the blue. So the question remains, how do we profit from these markets? To profit from the market, we will first move over to the 30 minutes time frame to select our point of entry. And for the strategy, all we need to do is we only take trade once there is a new column on the squeeze indicator, either from the green after a yellow column for a buy and red after a blue column for a sell. Now how do we profit from that? When we get a new green column from the squeeze momentum, we would then move down to the 5 minutes time frame and look for points of valid entry. So we see we have a new green column here. We would now move over to the lower time frame, the 5 minutes time frame. And on the 5 minutes time frame, we would want to see this squeeze momentum close below the zero line by showing a red column. And when we get that, you would now want to wait till we get a green column. Why we do this is because we are trying to take trades at the point after a bullish retracement has been completed. So you can see how the two different time frame filter and give good signal. Please note that if we had a red column present when we check our 5 minutes time frame, we would only want to wait for the next green column before taking trades. So now you see we got a red column on the squeeze momentum. I would now wait for the next green column before I enter trade. So we got a green column at this point, but before we take trade, we would have to go back to our 30 minutes time frame. On the 30 minutes time frame, I want you to just check only one thing. On the squeeze momentum, I want you to check if there were any blue column present. And we see we have these couple of blue column here from the point we started trailing our entry. Please also note that if all these columns were still on green, we won't be taking any trades. Also, if when we check our 30 minutes time frame and we see a red column present, we won't be taking any trades as well. And lastly, we need only at least one blue column to present either from the point of entry trail or at the current column. Now we see our signal is valid as all the conditions are met. We would now go back to the 5 minutes time frame and open a buy stop order at the peak of this trigger candlestick. Stop loss at recent swing low, while take profit at 2.5 times the risk. Please always make sure you keep an eye on the 30 minutes time frame in order to identify when a change on the squeeze momentum occurs. We only want to notice the beginning of a new green and red column in order to trail our entry on the 5 minutes time frame. And we see it was successful. And by taking trade once condition is fulfilled on the 30 minutes time frame, won't produce a lot of trade signals. But the good thing about the strategy is that it works on major trending pairs like United States dollar, Japanese yen, and so many others, as well as working on crypto and stocks market. Now exactly the opposite is true for a short signal. We would hunt for a sell position on the 30 minutes time frame as we would want to see a new red column on the 30 minutes time frame. Now we have our new red signal. We would now have to move down to the 5 minutes time frame to hunt for an entry, as we would want to see the squeeze momentum on green and then enter on the next new red column. And like I said, always keep an eye on the 30 minutes time frame to be able to identify when we have a new buy signal. So we can see that while we waited for our signal to enter a short position, we had a new long signal from the 30 minutes time frame. We would now cancel the hunt for a sell trade and look for new buy opportunity on the 5 minutes time frame. And to get that, just like we said earlier, we would want to wait for our squeeze momentum to give us the signal to go long, as we would want to first get the red column from the squeeze, then enter on the green new column. Always keep an eye out on the 30 minutes. Now we got our signal. We can see we do not have any blue column on the 30 minutes squeeze. We would now wait for our next red column, as at this point, it is difficult to predict the current wave momentum. Please note that with this strategy, you are likely to not take any action while a strong trend is ongoing. But how often do we get these long trends? So trust me, you are not missing out. Let's now go over some examples to make you better understand the strategy. So traders, we can see that we have a sell trade to take at this point. As in our 30 minutes time frame, we have a new red column on the squeeze momentum. We would now move over to the 5 minutes time frame. On the 5 minutes time frame, we can see that the squeeze momentum is on red. We would wait for it to turn to green and then enter on the next red column. Now we see we got our next red column at this point. And before we take the trade, let's check 30 minutes time frame to confirm the trade. And we see we have our conditions met. Back to the 5 minutes time frame, we would now open a sell stop order at the lows of this trigger candlestick. Stop loss at recent swing low and take profit at 2.5 times the risk. Please do not forget to keep an eye out on the 30 minutes time frame. And we see it was successful. And now, our next trade would have to be a long position. Like I said earlier, you would sometimes get a good ongoing trending market, but we don't trade that. We only trade once per new column. So we can see we got a new long position here. We will move down to the 5 minutes time frame. And we can see the squeeze is already on the red column. We would now wait for the next green candlestick to enable us enter trade. And we see we got it at this point. Now before we open trade, we would have to recheck our 30 minutes time frame for a blue column on the squeeze. Now we got no blue column from the start of this new green candlestick. We would therefore ignore this trade and hunt for new sell signal. So we got the short position from the squeeze. We would now head over to the 5 minutes to enter trades. And we see we have the squeeze on red. We would wait for the green column to be present and then enter trade at the next red column. And we see the new column was at this point. We would therefore check our 30 minutes to confirm this entry. We could see we have conditions confirmed, as there are yellow columns present from the point we started the hunt for a sell trade. Back to the 5 minutes time frame. Enter a sell stop order at the lows of this trigger candlestick. Stop loss at recent swing high, and take profit is at 2.5 times the risk. And we see it was successful. So traders, make sure you follow all the rules for this strategy if you want to become profitable. So now, we see we got the new buy signal on the 30 minutes time frame. Let's check the lower time frame for possible entries. And we can see that on the 5 minutes time frame, we have the green column present. Let's wait for our red column, then enter trade at the next green column. And we see conditions have been met. Before we enter trade, we then have to confirm this signal from the 30 minutes time frame. And we see we have our conditions met. We would now move over to the 5 minutes time frame to enter trade. Buy stop order at the peak of the trigger candlestick. Stop loss at the recent swing low. And take profit is at 2.5 times the risk. And we see it was successful. Notice how we took only good trade and avoided losing trades. Because if you were trading life, you would have bagged 3 consecutive wins on 2.5 times what you risked. So take this seriously if you want to skyrocket your capital. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.